friend of sinners. Break our hearts for what breaks yours.
Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Brian. I play drums in the band. I'm also a middle school pastor back home. I've been at that about 8 years now, and I'm a dad, husband. I got a wife with 2 little boys.
Hey everybody, I'm Mark. I'm in Crowns. I'm a youth pastor at Eagles Landing First Baptist Church. Been there 11 years this month.
Hi, I'm Chris. I play bass in Crowns and in, I think, every worship band at our church. I think there might be 1 or 2 that I don't play bass in, I don't remember. But I'm also married and I have 2 beautiful daughters at home, and I just assumed a new responsibility in have a part-time homeschool teacher with my firstborn daughter. So.
Hey, I'm Hector. I play guitar in Crowns and I lead worship at a church about an hour and 45 minutes north of these guys in West Rome, Georgia. Well, Rome, Georgia, but it's west where we serve. Anyway, we have I have a little boy and another little boy on the way, and that's it.
I'm Melody DeVivo, and I play violin and sing, and I'm married to this guy, and hopefully worship with Mark and Juan at our church, and on Wednesday nights, and hang out with the girls a lot and do discipleship with some of them.
Couldn't have stretched it out, could you? Finish my shit. My name is Juan DeVivo. I play guitar in the band and at church. I help, excuse me, still working on my chip. I help lead with the student praise band at our church, and I get to teach the middle school guys on Sunday nights. That's a privilege and an honor and a curse.
Real quick, 2 quick things is kind of how we came together and how we're doing this. We met through student ministry. I was youth pastor at First Baptist in Daytona Beach. Went on staff, met Joanne and Melody, who were leading worship as an engaged couple. And then, beautiful, yes. And then we started the band there. And Hector joined us. He was on a work release program from a local prison there. And he joins in. Chris here was the kid in the youth group that handled the sound system and spinning the CDs and stuff and started to play bass and joined in. So we moved to Atlanta to do student ministry. Met Megan there. She was the worship leader for the youth group at the church I moved to. So we keep doing our thing. Make records for our youth group to have and give out to their friends. College student, goes to basketball camp somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Florida. And somewhere in that basketball camp, he meets Mark Miller, who is the singer of a country group called Sawyer Brown. We're still tracking? Yeah. Somewhere in there, he finds out Mark Miller's a Christian, goes, dude, you got to hear my youth pastor, and gives him our CD. I think the CD sits in his car for a month. Finally, he listens to it and then goes on vacation with Stephen Curtis Chapman and his family. And while they're on vacation with their other friend named Terry Hemmings, who was just about to become president of Provident Music, the 3 of them put in a CD and listened to If We Are the Body in the car and called us from the beach. So it was something that none of us ever really went after. Not saying it wouldn't have been awesome. We're all going to be really cool, but we knew the church was where we were supposed to be. That makes sense. And then God sort of brought it to us. He calls us, says, we want you guys to be our next artist. And we pretty much said if we can stay in student ministry and keep the local church at the center of what we do, we'll do it. And it was a really tough start now because there aren't a lot of bands like that. There are a lot of Christian bands with worship pastors, worship leaders in the band, but that's sort of more of a Sunday gig. Youth ministry doesn't work that way. So it's been really, it was really interesting wading into it, but the way we kind of do it now is in a perfect world, we're home Sunday through Wednesday. So we'll get home in the morning just in time to lead all 3 worship services at our church on the worship side, and then I'm in the office Sunday through Wednesday with students, as everybody else here leads small groups, leads different ministries in their church. So student ministry really is what we do. So that's kind of where we came from. And then as far as the songs that we sing, our songs start out as what we're teaching. So the things that we're pouring into families, because student ministry done right is family ministry, right? You're pouring into all of them. So as we're pouring into them and discipling them, these themes come up out of what we're teaching and become the songs. So that's kind of why when you get the record, you're going to have the lyrics to the song, and then you're going to have all the scriptures that came from it, because there really were Bible studies at first that turned into songs. So that's who we are, and we love to do question and answers about songs, about crowns, about student ministry especially. I mean, we're all very, very much into teenagers, and I know you guys, you know, there's several different worlds. Some of you are up here going, "Oh, my teenagers aren't getting kicked out of the park right now." Those of you who've been in student ministry a little longer are going, "Dude, it's air conditioned. They'll be fine." So we know where you guys are coming from. But we've been connected with Interlinc for a long, long time. Before Crowns, I joined Interlinc right out of Bible college, and that's how I found groups like Reliant K and a lot of these groups that would never make it on, you know, Christian radio, that kind of stuff. But my teenagers really wanted to hear. And even now, I just got my new box in. It had the new Lecrae CD in it. It was smoking awesome. Best. You guys aren't Lecrae fans? First of all, get saved. Secondly, get into some of that, probably the best lyric stuff out there as far as pouring Jesus into teenagers would be Lecrae. That was a side note for you guys. But we love to do questions about anything or whatever you guys want to talk about.
Well, we'll jump. You know, but let me ask you guys one more question, and then we'll jump in and think about your questions. You guys mentioned you're in ministry and doing stuff, and you've got families, and you're in ministry. I mean, what is a typical casting crowns a week ago, and how do you balance all that? So much going on.
Well, usually it's probably not quite balanced. So I mean, there are weeks in a perfect world it looks pretty good, but the way we've been working it for the years we've been together is that if mom's on the road, the kids are on the road. So the DeVivos babies are on the road. They got 2. Megan is at home getting ready to have her 3rd. We hope very soon, because it's 9.5 pounds now. Not born yet, so big boy. But so Megan's 2, now going to be 3, are on the road with us, and we have 4. My wife Melanie is the road manager for Crowns. She pretty much runs Crowns, so we can all just do student ministry and show up. So she really is how it works, and so that's kind of how we do it. When we're off the road, we're off the road. So luckily, a lot of those that are home with babies don't have another job they have to do, so they can be home during the week with their kids. Yeah. You know, Patty, it's really a public service you do, because everybody else goes, "Oh, wow, her phone's on." Then they go, "Let me make sure mine's not on." Anyway.
Cool. Well, let's jump on into it. Anybody got any questions, and you not only just questions, cool, also just said feedback of maybe how the music is used in your student ministry, or just some cool stories or testimonies through some of Casting Crowns music, or if you do have a just burning desire question you're dying to answer. So, yes, back there.
Y'all's music has really went out and above and beyond where we're from, with reaching out with a lot of teenagers. There's a lot of things out there that they're competing with, and we compete with as Christians, trying to pull them into the youth groups. And it's through, y'all one of the favorite groups that the kids really like. They're a little upset they didn't get to come in here tonight too. But to go back,
You gotta have something on.
when I go back, they're going to ask you if you guys had any type of word to send back to them and give them some kind of get up and go, stand up and do what's right. And what would y'all relate that to?
Well, I assure you they'll get that tonight from the stage, because we share the gospel. Anytime we're on the stage, you're going to hear the gospel. You're going to hear a challenge to grow. But I think with my teenagers, what's always on my mind is I need them to have their own walk with Jesus before they graduate. Not I need them to be a part of a youth group, or I need them active in our events or a part of this thing. Because it's tough. When you're a staff person, there is a goal to have growth happening, to prove the need for your existence in a lot of ways, right? But at the end goal, youth groups graduate. Disciples don't graduate. So in my head, I'm trying to build a teenager that has their own friendship with Jesus. And we're going to talk about that through worship, because worship teaches prayer. And prayer teaches conversation. Conversation teaches that this is a person we're talking to and not just a belief system. We're going to talk a lot about their relationship with their parents. Because if mom loves God and daughter doesn't like mom, she's going to leave God just to get back to mom. Does that make sense? So a lot of their rejecting God is really just being mad at their parents, and who has come at them in the name of God. So I'm trying to separate a lot of that and get to the heart of Jesus in them, and then also want to see them discover their gifts. That you're not made to sit in a chair, you're made to do something, and it doesn't need to be all of us on a stage. Church has kind of accidentally taught us that ministry happens up front, but it's just not in the Bible anywhere. So they've got to see that changing oil is ministry, and painting houses is ministry, and laying bricks is ministry. All these things can make disciples in what you're doing. So, as much as a young guy, I was thinking I want to get them all on the stage, talking and preaching and singing and acting. They can't do that when they get to college. They can't get up there and start acting so much. I want them to use their gifts, but I need them to know they can do it anywhere. So, I don't know what all that was for, but that was some of it for you.
Anybody else? Next.
Who are some of your musical influences?
Our musical influences. Anybody want to dive in?
What?
Thought you were doing it. Well, what's cool about turn this on? Oh, what's cool about this group of people? We're all kind of different in our backgrounds and stuff. I grew up when I learned guitar. Ended up learning. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I ended up learning bluegrass and stuff. So blues and like that soulful kind of music and stuff. So like right now, who I'm listening to a lot is a guy named Josh Garrels. I don't know if anybody knows of him, but his lyrics are really well on. But he's like a singer-songwriter, a lot of funk, a lot of soul in his stuff, and then also Rhett Walker Band's at the top of my charts because that guy's got an incredible voice, and he's got a really cool testimony too. So that's who I'm listening to.
Mine was a lot of classical music because I play violin, so that was kind of immersed in that for a really long time. Didn't get into a lot of other things until like Switchfoot came out, and that was my first really I love this Christian band. That was the first one for me.
Can I take yours? I'm sorry.
I like Switchfoot too. I'm a better fan than she is. I like Switchfoot, Need to Breathe, I'm just nuts about. And for those of you, another plug for Rhett Walker, I was a huge Audio Slave fan and Soundgarden fan, and his voice is very much like Chris Cornell. I recommend him highly to you guys.
I like all of that they said, and I'm kind of the hardcore heavy metal fan in the band, so I listen to bands like, we're all fans of Red. I like 1,000 Foot Crutch, Demon Hunter, a lot of the heavier bands. So.
1,000 Foot Crutch's new record is awesome. I don't know if you guys have heard that, if you like the rock and roll. But anyway, I came out listening to everything. I don't really have a style I got stuck in, so back in the day, it was, I don't even want to go there, but pretty much everybody that everybody else liked, I liked. I was probably about 22. Watch it. I was about 22 when I really started seeing that my entertainment and my hobbies and all this stuff really did need to merge if I was going to be singular in my passion and purpose. So I decided that I needed my music to pour into my new life and not drag me back to my old life. So that's when I was just sort of checked out of mainstream music. Not that it's evil, but that it was, for me, wisdom to pour in some truth into me. So as a young believer who wasn't really discipled so much in church, I was kind of in the youth group that we went and had pizza on Sundays, and that was kind of us. And so I was really discipled by Stephen Curtis Chapman and DC Talk and Audio Adrenaline and all these guys like The Cry way back in the day, if you gotta get some of The Cry. But these guys really taught me how to worship, how to pray, Delirious, bands like that. So, but in my CD player now, if it's got Jesus in it, it's probably in my car. Everything you can think of style-wise, but I really do want to pour into my new life with what I listen to. So, yeah. Brian, give it to us, bro.
I like everything that was mentioned except classical music. but I have a great appreciation for it. Everything that was mentioned, some things that weren't mentioned that I do like. There's two worship leaders that I really like. One's named Matt Redman, and another one's named Brenton Brown. So they both have their newest albums are really great. And there's a band out too that I really like. That's a totally different style, but they're called Abandon, and their latest record's really nice too. But I'm just like Mark. I like every sound just about as good for me.
Mark mentioned audio adrenaline. Good stuff. You heard about that, didn't you, the new lead singer?
Yeah. Toby's new dubstep record, if you got that, if your students are into dubstep, you might as well have some Jesus going into them while they're listening to it. And it's a great record, especially if you have loudspeakers in your car, like I do.
Somebody else got another question? You get these guys got something, man? Holler it out.
Are y'all working on a new album now?
There's a go. What's on the horizon?
Dude, yesterday we presented. Really? Awesome. Thanks, dude. Well, just yesterday we presented our new record to the label. It's an acoustic record, and we took some of the favorites from songs that have been on the radio, some of our favorites from songs that we think sort of got lost along the way that are really special to us, and we made an acoustic record. And man, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's just really stripped down, acoustic guitars, pianos, strings, and lyrics and stories, and just kind of hearing the heart of what a lot of the songs are about. And it should be out here pretty soon, so we're pretty stoked about that. In January, yeah, it should be out in January. Courageous? Well, Alex Kendrick and his brothers and all the guys, their church is about an hour south of us, about 2 hours. It's Albany, Georgia, if you're from around where we live. But they're from Albany down the road, and great guys. Love Jesus, man, they're solid. And we got connected with them in the other movies by having them go, we want your song in our movie. But we went to the National Day of Prayer breakfast in Washington, and it was the last time they had a National Day of Prayer breakfast, right before they don't have those anymore. I didn't say anything, just mentioning we don't have them anymore. So anyway, we went to that and met Alex Kendrick at the breakfast, and we're talking, and he's saying, what are you guys up to? What are you guys up to? And he says, man, I'm working on a movie about dads and fatherhood. And I was like, bro, I started gushing on him because we had just started walking through a book called Raising a Modern Day Knight. And for fathers, that's probably one of the best books I've ever read. And I don't read a lot of books, that doesn't mean that much, but it really is a really good book. But it's called Raising a Modern Day Knight by Robert Lewis. And it also has a study guide and videos you can take dads through. And about 24 of us dads have gone through the Bible study, a 6-week little video study, and really rocked our worlds, because the book doesn't just talk about, hey, here's a million reasons you should be a good father, because we all kind of know that, but it starts giving you a plan. Here's some ideas, here's some things you need to start doing. And so I'm pouring all that into him, and turned him onto it, and a lot of that book ended up in the movie. And we just sort of said, we need to do a song for that. And as ADD as I am, I just kind of got back to my world. And then next thing you know, they're doing the movie. And so Matthew West and I get together, and we had written half the song before we ever saw the movie. We just knew it was going to be called Courageous, and we knew where we were and where we kind of were in our hearts for guys. And we'd written half the song and then saw the movie, and it rocked our faces off. And then we went back in and added lines from the movie into the song, like where are you men of courage, that really cool moment, and this is my resolution, and put some of those moments back into it, and made it really, really special. Yeah, but if you notice, if you go to the movie and you're looking for the song, you're like, when are they going to play the song? When are they going to play the song? And like, there you are, the staff's picking up popcorn, and you're going, when are they going to play the song? And it's at the very end, because we didn't finish the song until the movie was done. So we kind of forgot. I was off and blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh yeah. So when we wrote the song and finished it, the movie was already playing, what do you call those, screenings in different places. So, I mean, they basically duct taped our song on the end of the thing there. So that's kind of why it's towards the end. But great guys, great ministry, and man, they are making Christian movies that are getting better and better. quality-wise, but they're not losing the gospel, which is amazing because that's usually the first thing to go. So yeah, good stuff.
I just have a quick comment. For us as youth leaders, I've been reading your book, Well, and it's very inspiring, and I would just encourage anyone who's not read the book that Mark authored, Well. It's fantastic for us in our daily walk.
Thank you. I've got 3 books out, and since the song has come from sermons, one of the co-pastors at our church now has transcribed the sermons. We've glued them together into these books. So The Well walks through all of the things that we draw from in life to keep us going, that always leave us thirsty, versus drawing from Jesus to start with. And so got to see a lot of small groups going through it now, and seniors, high schoolers. So that's been really cool. Thank you.
Mark, what would be your advice if a lot of people don't know how to don't know the word? What would your advice be to give them?
To give to people that are wanting to grow?
Like your song set me free.
Yeah.
We actually did a skit at my church, and man,
That's awesome. You know, we put Set Me Free on the acoustic record, man. It's fun. Just all stripped down to like a string section and some guitars. Wah! But, you know, as far as growing goes, a lot of times we're kind of scared by the Bible because it's so big and it's kind of old sounding, and we're not real sure where to dive in. I would say the book of John is a great book to go to read in sections. Don't think I've got to finish John, but I just want to chew a little pieces of it off every day. The book of James is great because it's very instructional, kind of because you need to do this, you need to not do this. The book of 1 Thessalonians is really great for just theology, just like understanding who you are in Jesus. But if you go to YouTube or to castingcrowns.com, I've got on there a 21-day video Bible study of James. And it's little 8-minute videos, about 3 verses at a time, just walking through the book of James every day. And I put it on there because I'm challenging youth workers to start discipling one-on-one their teenagers. I've seen a lot of different ways to reach students, but when I look back now at our teenagers who are now in ministry, still living for Jesus, still pouring into people as parents, they're the ones that had some sort of one-on-one discipleship. And so what I do is I'm meeting with about 24 students now one-on-one during the week. And so what I'm doing in that little video is showing you how to do that. But what I would challenge you to do is check out those videos to start. Yeah, I do.